Good morning once again, everybody. We are going to talk about the subject of companies demanding too much and failed DTs. so, first and foremost, if you are a company and you are trying to hire people, you might as well stop testing for weed because everybody's high. Okay? This is just the reality. I know a lot of people certain people don't want to hear the shit, but it's the reality. It's across all spectrums. All right. Every single tax bracket, people are stoned off their ass. All right. That this is just the new normal. All right. There are companies that still, think that they can find workers at all who won't come up positive for something. Honestly, the the stoners actually work. All right, they may not work quickly, but they work. They might not work perfectly. There might be mistakes. There might be fuck ups occasionally, but they show up for the most part, and they work for the most part. That's better than some of the other fucking people I know you're finding. But it's unreasonable at this point, especially with how much stress people are under. Again, regardless of tax bracket, regardless of what you're paying. Like if you want people to this is just one example. If you expect people to be able to pick up a shift and be there every single day without fail, you have to fucking pay them enough for that. All right? If you need people to be able to put their life aside or anything else, whatever the hell they got going on, if you want them to be able to put everything aside and come fill the shift and save the day, you got to pay them for it. If you want people to drive through a nasty fucking snowstorm, you got to pay them well enough that they can get snowies and stud them. Um, you have to pay people enough so they can get a vehicle with four-wheel peel. All right. Or all-wheel drive, but it doesn't matter. Point's the same. You're not getting anything for free from the workforce anymore. I know it hurts. I know it sucks. I know you hate the idea of having to train your own people and pay them worth a damn. But tough shit. All right? Tough shit. If you want something, you got to pay for it. If you want stable, reliable workers, you got to pay for it. If you want workers who aren't high off their ass, guess what? You got to pay them enough to the point that they don't need weed in order to survive their anxiety or whatever else. All right? Life is incredibly fucking complex and stressful now. All right? It ain't easy. It ain't easy. The entire world, honestly, but in the US, and I assume Europe is not too far off, we have succumbed to broad scale adoption of low IQ bullshit. All right? Because, and a lot of the low IQ bullshit is because of what corporate America demanded and what it set as acceptable and not acceptable, and just the insane, screwy fucking timeline that we're in. But people are stressed out, they're anxious, they're losing their fucking shit, they're losing their minds, and they are, a certain portion are turning to the pot. And honestly, you gotta let it go. Do you want workers at all? This is one of the things that I have to fucking ask people. Do you want workers at all? Because almost nobody in this country anymore can pass a fucking drug test. With flying colors, it's damn near impossible. Damn near impossible. Everybody's smoking pot. The pot is everywhere. All right? Even the harder shit is coming in. All right? Given a decent dent has been done to that, but everybody's on something. I'm standing behind the fucking call now that literally everybody's on something. All right. In my case, I'm standard coffee and nicotine. I might actually pass. But for the average person, with how fucked up the world is, get the fuck out of here. Everybody is either taking a pill or they're smoking weed. All right. You gotta be on something to survive this fucked up fucking economy. All right. It it's mandatory now. Honestly, I don't know how. It's fucked up to think about, but I look at it sometimes and it's just like I don't know how I'm not, completely a completely debilitated total loser sometimes. All right, because honestly, I know way too much. I know way too much. I learned way too much, and some of the shit that I know, like again, like I don't know if I mentioned this in a different video, but I have to sanitize the output. That's the more official way to say it. But if you knew everything I knew, all right, it would drive you fucking insane. It would legitimately drive, well, maybe not you, but it would drive a lot of average people fucking nuts if they kept track of and knew all the shit that I know. And just the fact that I can make calls. Like I know where the economy's going. I mean, increasingly more and more people do. I know the overall state of things. All right, the unofficial official state. I know all this shit. If you drop this onto somebody just freely, they'll end up. You'll be giving people legitimate fucking anxiety attacks and panic attacks. Like it's a thing. Like the information that I know and that we kind of collectively know as a species, honestly, we weren't meant to have this kind of info. All right. Regardless, back on point. If you want to have a workforce at all, and you consistently do not want to fucking pay them an actual living fucking wage that keeps up with the inflation, important caveat, if you want to maintain access to a labor force and you don't want to pay them worth of shit, you're going to have to make concessions. All right? When it comes to DTs, obviously for the harder stuff, that's more reasonable to buck against. Okay? But there's no point in testing for marijuana anymore. There really isn't. Everybody's using it. Okay? Everybody. All right? And outside of a handful of fields where you absolutely need perfect, sober precision, it's pointless. It's a waste of time and money to test for it. All right. Especially when you consider the fact that most people, when they smoke, you know, they're doing it off the clock for the most part. They're doing it off the clock. They're doing it at home. They're not running your machinery higher than a kite necessarily. I've worked for places that in the past that I've had quite a few not exactly sober people operating heavy equipment. Not exactly the safest, but grit your teeth and bear it, right? It's pointless to test for it. Do you want workers or not? That's just as simple as it comes down to. People are coping with how fucked the economy is as best as they can. And unless companies and corporations are going to come out and start doing the fucking right thing for once, I know you got the fiduciary responsibility, obviously, but if you're just going to keep doing what you're doing, you're going to have to accept lower and lower quality. You're going to have to accept more and more low IQ bullshit creeping in because the coping strategies are getting weirder and weirder. All right? Pretty soon, I shit you not, pretty soon most companies will be relieved at the idea that people are just smoking pot. All right? As compared to whatever the fuck else they're going to do next. Because firsthand, I know a lot of people are not doing okay. A lot of people are not doing okay. Circumstances are not exactly peachy for a lot of people in this country, especially with the mass layoffs and government cutting spending. For better or for worse, it's drying up parts of the economy that, knock on effects. Can't necessarily predict where they're going to show up, but it's a thing. That'll be all from me for now. You guys have a good one. I'll see you next time. Like, share, favorite, comment, subscribe, hype, upvote, ding the bell, do the things. And yeah, we'll just end it with that. If you're interested in personal or business consulting, stop by www.spaceconsulting.com without the dash, and I will see you next time.